From Kern Government Television, welcome to this week's Kern County Board of Supervisors meeting. Originating from the County Administrative Center, located at 1115 Truxton Avenue in Bakersfield, California. Grounded in ideas, energy, and innovation, Kern County's vision is to be a driving force for the world's fifth largest economy. And our mission is to exceed expectations of the communities we serve, changing the way they feel about government, those who manage it, and the services it provides. Today's Kern County Board of Supervisors meeting will convene momentarily.
Board to reconvene. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Supervisor Peters.
Here.
Supervisor Scribner.
Here.
Supervisor Maggard.
Here.
Supervisor Couch.
Here.
Supervisor Perez.
Thank you. Good morning and welcome to the Tuesday, October 11th, 2022, 9 a.m. meeting of the Board of Supervisors. We will begin today's meeting with the flag salute, which will be led by Supervisor Couch. And please remain standing for a moment of prayer, silence, or meditation, whichever you prefer.
Please stand. Salute. Pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please be seated. Okay, next I'm going to call on Nick Cullen, our Director of Animal Services, to introduce our Pet of the Week. Come on out, Nick. Good morning.
Good morning, Chairman Scribner and members of the board. I have with me this morning, his name is Goliath. He's not a ground squirrel. He's a Chihuahua Min Pin. He's available for adoption at the Kern County Animal Shelter right now. He's about 1.5 years old, and he's super sweet and good with other dogs.
So what's the outfit he has on here?
I have staff, and the staff likes to surprise me in the morning, and they surprise me with a Halloween costume, and he's dressed as a squirrel.
Dressed as a squirrel. All right. Maybe more a scrat. If you're what was that? The dinosaur show.
Oh, from Ice Age.
Ice Age. Exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. Well, Nick, thanks so much, and good luck to you, Goliath.
Thank you.
Wish you the best. Thanks so much. Yeah, those kids' cartoon movies blend together for a father of four, I must say. All right, so next we will begin by considering the consent agenda. Agendas are located on the tables near the doors for anyone wishing to follow along. And so if you would like to grab an agenda, that's where you can find them. So all items listed with a CA above the item number are considered to be routine and non-controversial by county staff. Consent items will be considered first and may be approved by one motion. If a member of the audience wishes to comment or ask questions regarding an item on the consent agenda, they may do so prior to a vote being taken. A member of the board may remove any item from the consent agenda, and it will be considered in listed sequence with an opportunity for any member of the public to address the board concerning the item before action is taken. A member of the public may also comment on any closed session items. So at this time, I'll read the consent agenda item numbers. Starting on page 2, we have item 3 on consent, as well as 6, 7, and 8. On page 3, all items 9 through 15 are on consent. Page 4, all items 16 through 23 are on consent. Page 5, all items 24 through 32 are on consent. Page 6, all items 33 through 38 are on consent. Page 7, all items 39 through 46 are on consent. Page 8, all items 47 through 54 are on consent. Page 9, all items 55 through 61 are on consent. So I'll ask now if there's any members of the audience who would like to make any comment on any of those consent agenda items I just read. Okay, I don't see any. I'll return to the board for any questions, comments, or a motion to approve.
Motion. Second.
Okay, you have a motion and a second. Please cast your votes.
Thank you. The motion is approved, 4 ayes, 1 absent. Supervisor Perez.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Now we will return to page 2 on our agenda, and these are 2 items under resolutions and proclamations. The first, item 1, is a resolution honoring Rebecca Hager, Department of Human Services, upon her retirement with 31 years of dedicated service to the County of Kern. And on item 2, this is to proclaim November and December 2022 as Kern County Cares Can Food Drive Month in Kern County. And Supervisor Couch is going to make both of these presentations, and we will entertain a motion on both and vote on them concurrently. Supervisor Couch.
Motion on 1 and 2.
Second.
You have a motion and a second. Please cast your votes.
The motion is approved, 4 ayes, 1 absent. Supervisor Perez.
Board members, Mr. Chairman and board members, I should say. Becky, I'll tell you right now, I forgot my glasses upstairs, so I might stumble over this just a little bit. It's my pleasure today to read into the record and present a resolution honoring and commending Becky Hagar for her retirement with 31 years of dedicated service to Kern County. And so I'll read this into the record, and then I'm going to turn it over to Maria. She has some comments about Becky. Whereas Rebecca Hagar began her career with the Department of Human Services on July 29, 1991 as an eligibility worker 1 and promoted to eligibility worker 2 on March 7, 1992. And Ms. Hagar promoted to social services worker 1 on February 5, 1994 and advanced through the social worker services working in various programs such as family reunification and emergency response. On September 9th, 2000, she promoted to Social Service Supervisor in the Court Review Program. On September 20th, 2014, she promoted to Human Services Program Specialist in the Court Review Program. And on December 7th, 2019, she promoted to Human Services Program Director over the Permanency Program. Did I get that right? Permanency? A position she held until retirement. Along with a variety of achievements in these classifications, she was instrumental in the development of something that is really kind of cool, the Holiday Cottage, the structured decision-making implementation, introducing a domestic violence unit in the emergency response, and leading hundreds of staff with her support and leadership. Her dedication to the Department of Human Services and commitment to serving families and children has earned her the respect and admiration of both her peers and her colleagues. Her many contributions to child welfare will be greatly missed, and she is wished all the best in her future endeavors. And it ends with this, Becky. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Supervisors of the County of Kern, State of California, does hereby honor and acknowledge Becky Hagar upon her retirement with 31 years of dedicated service to Kern County. It's adopted today, October 11th, and signed by all the members of the Board of Supervisors. And I'll leave this up here for you when you speak, and Maria's going to step up and say some things about you. Probably nice things.
Good morning, Chairman Scribner, members of the board. I am Maria Bermudez, and I am the Assistant Director of Child Welfare Services with the Department of Human Services. And I'm here to honor, and I have the honor today to recognize Becky for her 31 years of service. I've also had the personal pleasure of working alongside Becky for 25 years. Her experience and knowledge and her great personality will be greatly missed. I had the opportunity to ask her staff their thoughts about Becky's leadership. They shared with me that Becky is always doing everything in her power to support her team. She is a leader who embraces creativity, she radiates empathy, and shows people they matter. She always maintains a positive outlook when even dealing with the most challenging situations. She is invested and passionate in her work and always pushes for the best services for children and families in Kern County. She is a fair and just a great leader. Becky often can be heard saying when she's dealing with case situations, what if this was my child or your child? We need to give them the best we can. There are many stories that I can share about Becky and the impact she has made in our community. She's implemented various programs in her years of service. However, the stories that come to my mind are the positive impact she has made on children and families. For example, recently we had an 18-year-old non-minor dependent child that was wheelchair bound. It came to her attention that she had become homeless. She worked late into the evening with her team to ensure that 18-year-old young lady had a place to lay her head that night, to make sure she wasn't on the streets, and then worked with community partners to make sure that she found immediate long-term housing. Another case situation we had was of a young child that was a diabetic child that was in the hospital because we couldn't find a home that was equipped to care for him. She was very dedicated. She asked her staff daily for updates so that the child could be released, didn't have to stay in the hospital, and we were able to find a stable and loving home for that child. These are just a couple of stories that I wanted to share, but she definitely is a leader in the field, and she'll be greatly missed. She has been a true advocate for the children and families of Kern County. On behalf of the DHS family, we will miss you, and we thank you for your years of service, and we wish you a wonderful retirement. So, thank you.
Thank you.
That's it. Thank you. Now she's.
Hey, don't leave without your proclamation. Morning.
Morning.
Next item is a proclamation, and I'll read that into the record. I'll turn it over to Lito. It seems to me that you all break this record every single year. Board of Supervisors of the County of Kern, State of California has officially proclaimed November and December as Kern County Cares Canned Food Drive months in Kern County, and this recognition has been entered in the official board minutes signed by our Honorable Chairman, Zach Scribner, dated today, October 11th, 2022. Lito, tell us all about it.
Thank you. Thank you, Supervisor Couch. Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. I'm just happy to be here and joined by Debbie Powers, who's the Executive Director of the Golden Empire Gleaners. This proclamation actually kicks off the 2022 Kern Cares Canned Food Drive. And so DHS, as you heard, we do a lot of things in the community. One of the things is obviously Holiday College. And this Care Cans Food Drive is really one of those big events. It's a rewarding event that DHS takes a part in, and we're fortunate to do so. So we're all dealing with higher prices and obviously inflation, causing our food prices to go up. And for Kern families, that's a bigger issue, especially if you have little to no income. I can tell you that when you talk about food insecurity, 1 in 8 Americans are dealing with food insecurity, and unfortunately, Kern County ranks in the nation as one of the worst counties. They're 25% above the national average in terms of food insecurity. And the pandemic's only made that worse. It's kind of widened that spectrum, which is why this Kern Cares Canned Food Drive is so important. The food drive will start November 1st through December 30th, and once again, the Gleaners agreed to honor all donations by the departments from January through December 30th, 2022. The Gleaners is going to host a coordinator kickoff on October 28th. And I'll be sending out an email to all the department heads in the coming days, basically announcing the food drive as well as the kickoff and soliciting coordinators from each of the respective departments. I must say that your county departments play a large role in the success of this Kern's food drive. For perspective, through your department's efforts, last year alone, they collected 118,000 pounds of food. So that's about 59 tons, just to put that in perspective. I'm challenging all county departments to beat last year's number by collecting over 125,000 pounds, which is 63 tons. 4 more tons. That's all I'm asking for, 4 more tons. Yeah. So as part of this effort, there's also an 8th annual Scramble for Food golf tournament, which will be hosted, and all the proceeds goes to this food drive. This event's going to be held on December 30th, and it's being coordinated by Doug Landon, who is a previous department head, as you may know. I just want to thank you for this opportunity and also thank all the departments that are going to be participating in this event. I know we'll make another successful event, and this is going to be the biggest year yet. So with that said, I'll turn it over to Debbie for a few moments.
Good morning, Board of Supervisors. Last year was my first year with Kern County Cares. It was such an amazing experience. I was lucky to work with Karina Wilson, and at the end of the event, I got to go to all the departments and see the county employees do contests, have Jean Day, all about raising money for the Gleaners. It was such a wonderful experience, and I'm so excited that this year we're going to raise it up to 125. Thank you so much. I think this is Kern County at its best. Thank you.
Thank you.
By the way, I want to thank Lito. Over the weekend, he helped me with a minor issue problem, but he's always working. And I just want to acknowledge that he really helped me out. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor, and thank you to DHS, and congratulations to Rebecca Hager. And now we will move on to item number 4, which is public presentations. This portion of the meeting is reserved for persons to address the board on any matter not on this agenda, but under the jurisdiction of the board. Board members may respond briefly to statements made and questions posed. They may ask a question for clarification, make a referral to staff for factual information, or request staff to report back to the board at a later meeting. Also, the board may take action to direct the staff to place a matter of business on a future agenda. Speakers are limited to 2 minutes, and so we ask you to please come forward and state your name and observe our 2-minute time limit. Good morning.
Hi, good morning. My name is Teresa Perez, and I'm here to speak in behalf of, I won't say any names right now, but of a county member. I would like to acquit this county member of any wrongdoing, any bad publicity. I say that if you could save a baby's life, then do it. I'm talking about a herb, a fluid that comes from a herb that could stop a baby's seizure. It's placed under the baby's tongue. It's a drop when a baby is having a seizure. It has helped. I've heard that it's sometimes done miracles. It's stopped causing the seizure to a baby. And this herb is something that has brought a lot of bad publicity for a county member. And I'm here to acquit any bad publicity, any wrongdoing to a county member. And this county member, if I may speak, is Leticia Perez. Because it's a herb. And we all know that, from what I've heard on TV, radio, we all know that sometimes there are people that get into prison that have been found innocent. So I acquit this county member of any wrong talking, any bad publicity, any wrongdoing, and I'm here to plead for her innocence, and that is Leticia Perez.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Next speaker, please.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is James Stewart. On August the 23rd, I was here to voice my concerns about a road repair. That morning, I met with Christian Romo from Leticia Perez's office and Samuel Lux, the Assistant Director of the County of Kern Public Works Department. That afternoon, I received a call from Alex Bedolla from the County of Kern Public Works Department. Mr. Bedolla invited me to meet him the following day at the location. On August the 24th, I met with Mr. Bedolla and Dan Valdez, also from the County of Kern Public Works Department. Mr. Bedolla and Mr. Valdez assured me that the situation would be rectified. On Wednesday, September the 21st, the repairs were completed, and I would like to thank Leticia Perez, Kristen Romo, Samuel Lux, Alex Bedolla, and Dan Walters. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next speaker, please.
Hi, good morning. My name is April Bigley, and I live in the unincorporated area of Sand Canyon, Tehachapi. So of late, there's been a construction project going in the, as we may recall in the past, and Chair Scribner, you're our representative, so I'll kind of speak this to you, but Hilo, back then, a windmill project that we had fought at the time. So this is agricultural property, and a company by the name of Sand Canyon Properties, Delbert Jones, has come in and done quite a bit of work on the property. And we have called, I'll just give you the short list of who we've tried to speak with to find out what's going on. We've spoken to Craig Murphy, Lena at Code Compliance, Jesse Dollawall, Jeremy Ryan, Kat at Tehachapi Cummins Water District, Nicholas Talusa, Environmental Health, Mojave Public Utilities, and your office, Mr. Scribner, several times. When we actually requested a meeting with your office, the communication stopped. So this large, there's actually 4 parcels there, and I'll reference the numbers are 224-11101, 15, 16, and 17. They have come in without permits and moved way over the regulated permitted amount. They have built 2 half-acre to 1-acre retention basins. They applied for a permit for a residential well. They have 2 well heads in 12-inch, which you never use for a well for a home. They've dumped slurry in the creek, which goes against the Clean Water Act. We also have filed a report with Lahontan. They've closed Old Wells Road, which my understanding is a public ingress egress, and by that I mean put up a big, big gate. There's also a county 1-acre cemetery up there. They have since put in a yard at the Tehachapi Sand Canyon intersection with grindings, which looks for potential to park water trucks. They took the shooting range that has been there for years and years and years, which is on private property, but I'm sure there's lead in that dirt. They just tilled it right into the ground.
Ms. Bigley, I thank you so much for your testimony today. You have exceeded your 2-minute time limit. I'd like to give you an update on our inspections of the area real quickly. If you could just bring your comments to a close, please.
Okay, and basically the wells were drilled and completed before the permits were issued, and we all have proof of that. So there was work even ongoing before Delbert Jones bought the property. But the wells, there's not been an inspector. We can't get anybody out there. He did state to Beverly Billingsley that his intention is to sell water off of that property. We have 300+ homes in that canyon. Aquifers run downhill, and we're all super concerned.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. So on 9/21, I had asked staff from various county departments to go out and investigate the activity. So that would be from environmental health, from planning, from code compliance through public works. And at this point, what we have concluded is that there is grading that is occurring without permits. And so, notices have been submitted to them. The inspectors, this would be yesterday. So we went out last month. I followed up with staff again on this, I believe either Friday or yesterday, just getting an update. Okay, what have we determined? And so at this point, we have the inspectors confirming the grading without permits yesterday. So that would be Monday. And a 14-day notice and order will be sent out to them today. So we do have several county departments that are working to determine the scope of the work out there and whether they're permitted or not. Randy Hardenbrook with Quail Valley Water has reached out to me a couple of times on this, and I've heard from some constituents as well. So we are working on it to try and get to the bottom of what they have planned out there. And as soon as we have completed that investigation, then we'll be ready to let the public know exactly what we've determined. But that's kind of an update for you that, of course, feel free to pass along to anyone that you know that's concerned about it, that the county has taken those steps up to this point.
Okay, and just for, and you may very well be aware of this, that Randy Hardenbrook will be retiring soon.
Yeah, he told me.
My husband, Mike Bigley, is the president of Quail Valley Water District, so in future reference, probably be taking issues up with him, and then Izzy the new. Also, but we need to see about getting that Old Wells Road open, because that's also a fire exit for Pine Canyon. And it's on the maps as Old Well Road. I don't believe they had any right to gate that off. And in the course of their gating that off, they actually started a forest fire over Labor Day weekend.
Okay.
This is so awful.
That would also be.
But I appreciate it.
Of course, thank you. That would also be a co-compliance issue as far as the gating off of a public access.
Yeah.
And so I know I'll make sure that Mr. Rojas, who heads up our code compliance division, will review this tape from our conversation this morning to get an update on what you have just reported, in addition to what we already have on file.
Okay, great.
Thank
and
you.
then can we contact your office for
Yes, ma'am.
further updates?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Thank you for your time. Have a good day.
You too. Take care. Any other public speakers, please? Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, supervisors. This comment is about a decision you made that affects a neighborhood community that is right on the boundary of both Supervisor Perez and Scrivener's districts. 2 weeks ago at the September 27th, 2 p.m. meeting, you voted to approve several areas for rezoning as part of the housing element. This included a community which was case number 19. We were completely disappointed by this decision and feel let down by this process. On June 23rd, at the Planning Commission meeting, our community came out and voiced our concerns. To our relief, the Planning Commission agreed with us that our site was inappropriate for this rezoning project. In fact, they asked Assistant Director Murphy to remove our site outright, and so that it would no longer be heard in the process at all. After the meeting, I asked Mr. Murphy for some clarity. From what I understand, he said that the Planning Commission recommendation that night would also be the Planning Department's recommendation going forward. I had no reason to doubt that. When we received update public hearing notices in the mail, they stated our case was recommended for denial. At the board meeting, the agendas we got at the door also stated in capital letters that the staff's recommendation was for denial. So I truly felt cheated when case number 19 was suddenly approved on September 27th. What happened? I thought the Planning Commission meeting was the appropriate time and place to voice our concerns. But had I known our case was actually still up for debate, our community would have attended that to give our testimony all over again. Community outreach is a required part of the housing element, but it feels like we experience community manipulation instead. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Ma'am, could you provide your name for the record?
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Rosario Padilla.
Thank you.
Supervisor Perez?
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Regarding Ms. Padilla, whose matter is not agendized and therefore not appropriate to have a lengthy discussion, I appreciate that. What are our options, Council, for addressing her concerns?
Supervisor Perez, through the chair, you could make a referral to staff to come back with a report to explain it. But the board did take action. I don't have exactly what numbers were voted on at your last board meeting, but you could request that staff come back with a report.
Ma'am, can I get your contact information to my CAO there? I don't know what the next appropriate steps are, but I want to meet with you and figure out how we get on the same page. Okay. And I'm very sorry for the experience you've had. Yeah. Certainly that was not the intent, I promise you. But that doesn't change anything. It doesn't help. I just want you to know that's how I feel. Okay. And if you could give your contact information to my CAO, I'll be in touch with you and we'll seek resolution for you.
Right now? Or
yes. Right now, just hand it to him. He's going to email it to my staff, and we'll get a hold of you. Okay? Thank you, ma'am, for being here.
Go ahead, sir.
I'm speaking on the same matter, actually. Good morning, supervisors. This comment is for everyone, but particularly Supervisors Perez and Scribner.
Can you provide your name?
We keep doing that. Roberto Padilla.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm speaking for a community in unincorporated Southeast Bakersfield, a diverse community, but largely Latino and working class. The decision to approve Case 19 for rezoning during the housing element meeting on September 27th from the lowest density possible rural residential estates to the highest density possible R3 dramatically hinders the healthy development of our community, which is already perfectly suited for the needs of farmers, horse boarders, and especially truckers. I was shocked by the board's approval of Case 19, despite all the evidence to the contrary, such as not being part of the general plan, zero interest from developers, and no one speaking in favor of that case specifically. There was no explanation given for why this case was suddenly changed from denied to approve, so I have to assume it was because of the testimony of the planning department. Supervisor Scribner asked Assistant Director Murphy to fill him in on the details of why the Planning Commission opposed Case 19 in their June 23rd meeting. And here's the important and very serious part. Mr. Murphy and the Planning Department gave an incomplete and unclear explanation of the Planning Commission's reasons for denying the case. It's all on video record. The Planning Commission's decision was not based on whether the site could be included, but whether it should be included. And they unanimously agreed that this site should not be considered at all. They recognized the dire need for housing we face in our county, but they explained that the sites they opposed would be difficult places for low-income residents to make community. Furthermore, they believed the sites were inappropriate and lacked the development harmony needed to justify this sort of rezoning. I'm disappointed you didn't call me back to speak more on this matter, the way the developers at that meeting had been called back up to. This was an important decision. I know the decision in this case has already been made, but it was made on somewhat misleading and incomplete testimony, and I believe our community at least deserves a fair hearing. I propose November 29th, when a continued case in the housing element will be discussed again. I'd appreciate your response.
Thank you. Appreciate it. You could provide your information to Mr. Alsop the same way that Ms. Padilla did, and we can reach out to you and have a further conversation about it.
Is that likely?
Yes.
How likely?
100%.
Okay, and I just want to add that I know that this decision has already been made and there's a property owner who's at this, but I do think in terms of the future of our community and development, this is really worth hearing, and I appreciate that if you would listen to that. We'd still have the numbers, by the way. I know that housing element has number requirement, so even if this case were to be taken out, it'd be close, but we'd still be in the numbers, so I appreciate your response. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other speakers, please? Okay, seeing none then, we'll move on to board member announcements and reports. Do you have any board member announcements or reports? Supervisor Perez?
I do, thank you, Chair. Item number 5 is a certificate of recognition
from this board honoring September 15 through October 15 as Hispanic Heritage Month. We are doing it under the announcements portion, although traditionally we would take it at the top of the agenda. Is Gabby Gonzalez and Jay Tamsey here? Would you please come down? Thank you. Didn't need to vote on that. No.
Wow, looking good.
Looking good. Okay. Good morning, Chair and members of the board. It is an incredible privilege and honor today to take a moment to recognize two local organizations doing excellent work in our community as we celebrate National Hispanic Heritage Month. The observation of Hispanic heritage in the U.S. first started in 1968 as Hispanic Heritage Week under then President Lyndon Johnson. It was later expanded by President Ronald Reagan 20 years later in 1988 to cover a 30-day period starting September 15 and ending October 15. It was enacted into law on August 17, 1988 by the United States Congress. September 15 is the starting point for the celebration because it is the anniversary of independence of 5 Latin American countries: Costa Rica, El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, and Nicaragua. In addition, Mexico and Chile celebrate their Independence Days on September 16 and September 18, respectively. Hispanic Heritage Month celebrates and recognizes the contributions Hispanic Americans have made to American society. Kern County is fortunate to have a strong, vibrant Hispanic community that contributes greatly to the successes of Kern's businesses and cultural institutions. As the first Hispanic woman elected to a board of supervisors in 9 counties of the Central Valley, it is truly a profound honor to see our community grow and flourish here in Kern County. I would like to present this certificate of recognition on behalf of myself and my colleagues, honoring the work of both the Latina leaders of Kern County, as well as the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce for all the amazing work they have done to uplift Hispanics in our community and preserve our beautiful culture. I have 2 certificates of recognition here to the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, which we'll do first. Jay Tamsey, this is presented to you in recognition and observation of National Hispanic Heritage Month, September 15 to October 15, by celebrating the histories, cultures, and contributions of American citizens whose ancestors come from Spain, Mexico, the Caribbean, and Central and South America for exemplary public service and civic contributions to the community and Kern County. Signed by our Honorable Chair and, of course, all supervisors presented to you today. Please accept this small token of appreciation and thank you from this board and from the Hispanic community. And of course, you have elevated the chamber in ways that were previously, I think, inconceivable. And so the business community, which is thriving and growing, I think is really benefited profoundly by what you specifically have been able to achieve. So thank you, Jay, for your personal contributions. And of course, we'd love to hear from you.
All right. Thank you, Supervisor, and thank you, Chairman of the Board and our supervisors. So we were able to have and host our 11th annual El Grito, a Mexican Independence Day celebration, September 15th, in front of the Liberty Bell with about 4,000 folks, where we closed off the street in front of Truxton, or in Chester. And it's just an educational aspect of it and the component of how the Hispanic community has grown, and also to showcase our Hispanic community. So we want to thank representatives from Supervisor Leticia Perez for being present that day, as well as Jeff Flores from Mike Maggard's office, who attended, as well as many other elected officials who attended the ceremony and the reenactment of El Grito. And then we went live to Mexico at at 9 o'clock. So with that being said, we've had several activities throughout the month to celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month. Tomorrow we end at Jim Burke Ford with a great celebration with mariachis and folklorico dancers, food, and just tons of entertainment, and just celebrate our culture. We also are going to celebrate tomorrow, Dia de la Raza. Dia de la Raza, we will celebrate the many contributions Hispanics have made to the community, as well as the indigenous folks. So you're all more than welcome to come, 5:30 to 7:30 at Jim Burke Ford. Thank you so much for this wonderful proclamation. I appreciate all the work that everyone does here at Board of Supervisors. Thank you.
Thank you, Jay. Thank you, Jay. Thank you. And to Latina leaders of Kern County, in recognition and observation, an observance of National Hispanic Heritage Month from September 15 to October 15 by celebrating the histories, cultures, and contributions of American citizens whose ancestors come from Spain, Mexico, the Caribbean, Central, and South America, and for exemplary public service and civic contributions to the community and Kern County. Gabby, if you could come forward,
Yes,
please.
absolutely.
And accept this contribution or this recognition of your contributions. I want to thank you. You are a force of nature in this community. I think with each year, you become more refined and more effective in what you do. I think that's how it goes, if you're on the right path. So it's not a criticism, it is a recognition of what Latina Leaders has done for you, what they've done for me, and so many others, right? It's an inclusive organization, so it's not just Latinas, but certainly the goal of uplifting people like yourself and myself, people like Xochitl Garcia, is profound and worthy of great recognition and honor today. So thank you for what you do. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much. Come on, stop being shy.
Yeah, I'm coming to that.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you. Hello, my name is Gabriela Gonzalez. I'm president of Latina Leaders of Kern County. Latina Leaders is a nonprofit 501c3. Our main goal is to foster leadership, and we do that in various ways. But one of the big ways that we do that is with our youth leadership program. So our youth leadership program is a leadership development program for high school students, high school young ladies, starting from their sophomore year all the way to their senior year. And we get students from all over Kern County, so your districts are covered. Delano, we get people from Lamont, Shafter, and so it's a privilege to be able to do that. We foster leadership and we get these young ladies ready to make profound decisions, not just for them, but for their families. And so we take them on field trips, we teach them how to overcome generational traumas, self-esteem, but we also teach them how to write a personal statement, update their resume so that they can get that job and go to college and come back and contribute to our county. And so I just want to say thank you on behalf of the board, on behalf of the 100+ girls that we're gonna, hopefully we have 200, but our goal is to really make a deep impact. And so on behalf of the students and on behalf of our volunteers, thank you so much for this recognition. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Good, thank you, very good. Let's get a picture.
Yes.
All right, looking good. Just come on up. Okay. Jay, get in. Yeah, Jay, get in. And let me see. Yeah, there we go. Let's see. Thank you, Christian.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Nice job. Well done, guys. Gabby, great job speaking. Thank you, Chair.
Thanks, Supervisor. That brings us to the conclusion of our agenda this morning. We do have one item to consider in closed session. This is item number 62 under the County Administrative Office. So at this time, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn to closed session.
Motion to adjourn.
We are adjourned.